Okay, I thought I would share some comments on a YouTube page that has disappeared. Axaru is the name of the page, and Cthulhu Productions, Adam, I forget what his YouTube was before, but at least one of the videos was on a previous YouTube page from years ago. I had an interesting lucid dream. This is my response. I am often hit from crown to tail with relaxation. I try to go to sleep in a state of ritual contemplation. Beware of mistaking as outer messages of the like of demons what was your own projections upon divinity. Dreams and waking visions are just as objectively real and empirically objective. But it may be true that there is sometimes greater reality in their subjectivity. And some videos on this channel were reposted, deleted, reposted, deleted. The channel's completely gone now. Reading Simon Necronomicon. Can the tomb of man be the splendor of Ereshkigal, Queen of Great Earth? Joy of Cthulhu, great-great-grandson of Azathoth and grandson of Yog-Sothoth, and fool Azathoth, hideous name is the meaning of that, and father of Nyarlathotep. If we side with a demiurge trinity like Enki, Inanna, and Ea, or the Christian-like one of Enlil with Ninlil, Enzu, and Ninurta, what have we? Mumu, Apsu, and Tiamat are what Axaru and some Satanists think with Al-Quran 101:9 for Hawiya, and thereby regard them as the primordial infernal trinity. The 18th seal of Marduk lifts up the line of air and water from the point of air, but I will not give up the external for Enki possession. Will you desire the Edemu, inner part, Udug, incorporeals, of the usurpers are the Apsasu, female, and other Lamar, patron spirits, of the primordial primumation. Primumatum. Okay. Subjectivity does not negate the objectivity in each evocation and invocation. Okay, I said that a little wrong, but planning to make real progress is the title of this next video. As much as I would try to identify specifics and focus on how to work that for a person's psychology, I would advocate a development process that begins with reviews of a system which can operate as a pentacle, or something representing or reacting upon all thoughts, words, and deeds. Their own understanding and experience will then be of their own. Yes, to not conform to popularity in belief, practice, learning, preaching, understanding, and experience is more difficult at first, but they should know it will come across as better when they make things their own. Mandrake and some other herbs or stones can represent a magical double, but I agree that a small consistency is needed to start the tone of success and personalization. Maybe that was Final Snow video, but anyway, I think it was. Individuality before magic. The most important Enochian author for some Satanists is Leah, the first author of the higher self, because it is of the daemon, its perception of oneself as a god or goddess with omnipresence, omniscience, and omnipotence. Worth pacts with the demon. The anti-personal self may be assailed by the demoniacus. The self-sacrifice should be about becoming a living daemon, are a divider of the destinies that comes out of character traits formed by habits and the choices that produce them. I agree that one's path should be about one's voice. And on to the others. John Caprine exposed. People expose themselves as they expose others. The best to serve is without the like of brothers. Over all hierarchies is a transcendent other. Mythologies divorced from physicality is just a bother. And John Caprine exposed number 2. Emmanuel, Christ, Messiah, and other titles never literally mean a god or part god until later languages influenced by Christianity. Lucifer still remains a title for Jesus, 3 times in the Bible, and as a rod claiming superiority in church services, but it is up to us to use mythology in the way that actually is best for you and me. I agree that none of our thoughts, words, or deeds are outside our personalities. It is better to try to uncover the true occult covenants and creeds instead of invented ideologies. Pretending spirits do want their own cults, though. And the power of Taniniver Liftoachnia, like menthol to the tailbone, is the experience of Taniniver Liftoachnia, spiked just barely inside my consciousness, is Enochian Afnia. Not all sensuality is sexual, even in those regions within the sexuality, and all of life can become of the dark covenants that free. Okay, what is real? I believe this could be an Axaru video. Imagination limits experience of such things as demons, but the non-human beings that can choose to become demons can play upon sensations, thoughts, and emotions. The left-hand path is about development, but there are different degrees of truth, and should be about the film, okay. Carl Gustav Jung and Aleister Crowley did not deny the reality of these male and female invisible beings, but they only spoke of how we evoke different parts of our psychology through our magical operations. The jinn, shayateen, are not manifest through humans by their choices of relationship, whether or not they are aware. Shayateen, min anas, identify much more with shayateen Minal Jinn, then the light beings are God, whether or not they are ever consciously aware of that. Okay. And Liber Azerate exposed. I don't know about the Temple of the Black Light, but priestcraft continues to invent and change sacred writ. Marduk lives, is the secret worship of Satan in the terms of Axaru, and the Judaism has in it other references. Liber Azerati, having some proofs, would attract people to what may be indirect claims on senses of wisdom are outright lies. Consciousness may not be misled for any other reason than empowering, but there are more varieties to mythology than we know. Hashtag Satanism. Making a path about focusing on culture or art style instead of the light of consciousness reeks of Christianity's current fate. Even Anton Casander LaVey spoke of how Satanism is not some inverted Christianity. Our New Ager role full of only hate and negativity. The best Satanism is the expression of the natural individual. That is what it is, regardless of a sense of popularity. Satanism for others seems more about trolling instead of developing happiness or creativity. Okay, the illusion of evolution. I may have some comments for Final Snow videos here mixed in or something, but I'm trying to make this all Axaru video comments because this channel's gone. This universe is a prison to the believer who knows he is here to do his time. We start perfect and become a devolver because of the priestcraft, statecraft, and sophistry that keeps us from remaining a Lucifer or becoming one of the shadows and shells of what we are, were, and will be in each place and time. Not being what they want doesn't make us below. And okay. Embrace pain, emptiness, and apathy. What does it mean to not surrender to the female and male negativity? There are times to hold back on responding to empathy. There is purpose to both pain and apathy. The greatest striving is to dedicate the psychology. Metal and Satanism? I think that's Final Snow, but I'll share that. If metal is the devil's music, Satan has good taste in music. The message can be invocation and evocation with music, but I would negate the idea that a style in itself makes for devil's music. We get what we need, and there is no need for crime and magic. Supposed experts may not be worth their high price in magic. Yes, there is a difference between the art and science of magic. Material circumstances should not define the elite of the esoteric. And with a green shell, that is Tammy there and Tummy there on the other side.